along. So good to see you in the mornings, my friend. You usually cover in the 5 p.m. and 11 o'clock City Newscast.
Yeah.
And you started off this thing called City Brews. Smart assignment you gave yourself.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
So you go around, you try different beers, and because of the wine shortage, you think...
Yeah, right? There's a potential wine shortage coming up in the next, 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think beer is now turning in to the new wine because... There's so many different distinct beers out there, so many different tasting notes, so many different food pairings that you can get into.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to do monthly 6-pack picks. So this is sort of the November lineup because the nice thing about your craft brewers, they're pumping out new beer all the time and they're doing fun and interesting things.
Yeah, really, like a ton of varieties.
Exactly, and they're fitting into the season too. So, for example, this one's a winter beer, and we'll be talking sort of about that.
This is your top 6 right now.
This is my top 6, and this is probably one of my favorite that's been out in a long time. This
Vanilla
one is a
Porter.
Vanilla Porter. Just came out into the LCBO in cans last week, but it was on tap at the Mill Street Brew Pub.
Okay, do you prefer cans as a connoisseur over...
You know what? It just depends. It depends on the beer. This one's cool, though, because it has a nitrogen charge inside.
Well, what does this
So
mean?
it releases the nitrogen. So beer kind of talks to you. Oh, that's warm.
Right
on your
over my
phone.
BlackBerry. Oh,
Well, time to switch.
Duh, beer.
I know, right?
Duh, beerberry. Okay.
Off to a solid start here.
This is going
Notice,
well.
but it's like
By the way, we haven't started drinking
I know,
yet.
right? You notice it's like a Guinness, so it has that little bit of that creamy foam head to it, and then you get sort of that cascading effect
Okay, we're not
into
allowed
the
to
glass.
drink, but
you can smell it, right? I'm going to be smelling like it all day. So you can see a lot of coffee flavors into it. Sort of the roasted malts, chocolate flavor is probably the most prominent thing that you'll get into
I'm
it.
not a beer drinker,
but it's called
that
the
smells
Vanilla
good.
Porter. And I was going to say, you don't drink a lot of beer, but that might be the one to get you into something.
You could taste the vanilla notes in it.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know
it
why?
looks
You
like
know
a
why
latte.
I phoned up like that? Because
Why?
it was warm.
Oh.
We haven't refrigerated these, so
Thanks, Wayne.
I'll take that from
Wayne
you.
gone.
All right. So this one is actually really cool too. This is the Muskoka Brewery.
Okay.
It's a vintage brew, which not a lot of the times you want to drink fresh beer. But this one has a higher alcohol content. They've actually cellared it for a year. It's the double chocolate cranberry stout. It is the vintage winter beer.
Come on, they've
is what it's
infused
called.
chocolate and cranberry into it?
Local cranberries into it. And you notice it's sort of got that deep, dark brown sort of mocha color. It's packing a little bit more alcohol, 8%. You don't really taste that 8%, but this is a fantastic gift for somebody who's entertaining, doesn't quite get into the wine. You may want to take this bottle instead.
By the way, much like wine glasses come in different shapes, I noticed you've used different shapes here to pour the beer.
The right glass for the right job. Since this one has so much more aroma, you want to have something that captures that, so like a brandy snifter style.
Okay.
So that one you can pick up at the LCBO, $13.95. You're paying a little bit more for it, but it's one that you want to take, crack open over dessert, share with your friends.
Okay, 10% alcohol.
Yeah,
like
this one is packing a bit more alcohol as well. This one has 9%, and this is the Amsterdam Brewery Tempest Imperial Stout. So your Imperial Stouts typically have a bit more alcohol into it.
Okay.
But notice the color, it's basically dark black. You've got sort of that mocha top to it.
Smells very strong.
It doesn't hold on to the head a whole lot like this one does, the foam head. You see how that retains
yeah. Well, you get the mustache if you're like Kevin with the Movember.
Yeah, exactly.
You wear your beer?
Fantastic. So, and they actually just released a double Tempest Stout, which has 14% alcohol. So you think this is one where you want to maybe crack it open and share with your buddies.
Like wine.
As well, right? So
content,
it's not just for the, you're not going to drink 5 of those in a night. It's just too much. This one here is the Lake Effect IPA. It's from Great Lakes. It's weather related. This one, if you like hoppy beers, this is fantastic.
What does hoppy mean?
Sort of that floral scent. Smell that? See, you get the floral colors there.
Definitely floral, almost champagne.
So it's packing a lot of, like a traditional IPA has a lot of sort of the floral notes to it. And
Almost
a lot
like
of the hoppy aroma. Yeah. This one here is the Meyer Nordic Pale Ale. It's slightly hoppy, not as hoppy as what you would get from, say, your Lake Effect IPA.
Okay.
But this one's $4.85 at the LCBO, about 5% alcohol on that. Sort of a light, higher carbonation style of beer. You notice it's bubbling a lot more than the rest of them.
Yeah.
And then I want to give a shout out to
this one.
Conductor's Craft Ale. These guys are in the Junction, so that's just over in the west end of Toronto there. And they actually had 14 beers, different beers that were available this weekend at their retail shop. So I would go pay them a visit. This one is sort of what we call a sessionable beer, where you could have a couple of them in one sitting.
Smooth.
If you're going to do that, if that's your night. And then, of course, you arrange transportation so you don't get behind the wheel. Because
Amen to that, my friend. We want you safe.
Absolutely.
Watch Adam weeknights, 5 and 11 o'clock on City News. Follow him on Twitter at Adam Stiles City, as well at City Brews.
Yeah, when we want to talk beer, at City Brews.
News you can bruise with Adam. Deb Beers, great assignment, like I said, buddy. It's okay.